You have a bottle of extra virgin olive oil sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. You probably use it to dress your salads or cook your vegetables, thinking you are doing your heart a favor. But if you are over 50, dealing with weak erections, and relying on chemical pills to perform in the bedroom, that olive oil is barely scratching the surface of what your body desperately needs. However, if you take exactly 1 tablespoon of that high phenolic olive oil and mix it with one specific highly volatile organic compound right before you go to sleep, you create a lipid-encapsulated vasodilator so powerful that it rivals prescription medications without a single synthetic side effect. If you consume this specific compound by itself, your stomach acid will instantly incinerate it before it ever reaches your bloodstream, rendering it completely useless. But when you submerge it in extra virgin olive oil, the heavy fats act as a biological Trojan horse. The oil coats the active molecules, shielding them from your harsh digestive acids, and delivers them directly into your portal vein. Once inside your circulation, this mixture forcefully hunts down the arterial plaque, suffocating your pelvic floor, strips the calcification from your blood vessels, and triggers a massive, localized expansion of your erectile tissue. I want to welcome you to the clinic. I am Dr. Calvin Harper. I have spent 28 years in active clinical practice, and I still evaluate and treat men just like you every single week. Today, we are stopping the pharmaceutical runaround. We are going to dive deep into the raw vascular biology of why your erections are failing as you cross 50. We are going to identify the exact organic compound you must crush and mix into your olive oil to reverse this failure, and I am going to give you the precise, step-by-step evening protocol to unleash explosive blood flow back into your life. If you are tired of being told that losing your physical intimacy is just a normal part of getting older and you want real science-backed protocols that actually work, please like this video, share it with a man who needs to hear this truth. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. I bring you exact named research and unvarnished medical facts every single day of the week, and your support helps this message reach the men who are suffering in silence. To understand why this evening olive oil mixture is so profoundly effective, you first have to understand the catastrophic misunderstanding most men have about erectile dysfunction. When your erections become soft, unpredictable, or disappear entirely, the problem is almost never in your mind, and it is almost never a localized failure of the penile tissue itself. An erection is a massive cardiovascular stress test. It is a high-pressure hydraulic event that requires your entire vascular system to operate at absolute peak capacity. For you to achieve complete rock-solid rigidity, the deep arteries located in your pelvis must suddenly dilate to over 300% of their normal resting diameter. This extreme physical expansion allows a torrent of high-velocity oxygenated blood to flood into the corpora cavernosa, the 2 spongy cylindrical chambers inside your erectile tissue. As these chambers engorge with blood, they expand outward, physically compressing the exit veins against a tough outer membrane. The blood is trapped inside under intense pressure. That pressure is what creates the hardness of your youth. But for those arteries to dilate and open wide enough to let the blood in, they rely entirely on a microscopic, single-cell thick layer of tissue lining the inside of your blood vessels called the endothelium. The endothelium is the biological control center for your erections. It is responsible for manufacturing a critical vasodilator gas known as nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the chemical messenger that tells the smooth muscle cells surrounding your arteries to relax, go limp, and let the pipes open wide. As a man ages past 50, decades of chronic stress, processed foods, and declining testosterone levels cause the endothelium to become severely inflamed and damaged. When the endothelium is damaged, nitric oxide production plummets. Without nitric oxide, the smooth muscle cells remain tense and tightly contracted. Your blood vessels become narrow, rigid, and restricted. Your brain can send all the arousal signals it wants, but if the physical pipes cannot open, the blood cannot flow, and the erection will fail every single time. This is exactly where the standard medical system fails you. When you complain about weak erections, a rushed doctor will hand you a prescription for a phosphodiesterase 5 inhibitor, the standard blue pill. That pill attempts to force the smooth muscle to relax artificially. But if your arteries are coated in calcified plaque and your endothelium is severely damaged, forcing blood through those rigid pipes is dangerous and often ineffective. It does not heal the tissue. It simply whips a dying horse. To truly restore your erections, you must physically heal the endothelium and provide an alternative explosive pathway for vasodilation. This brings us to the specific, highly volatile compound you must mix into your olive oil. That compound is raw, freshly crushed garlic. Before you dismiss this as an old wives' tale, you must look at the hard, undeniable biochemistry. Raw garlic contains a unique amino acid called alliin and a separate enzyme called alliinase. When a clove of garlic is whole, these two substances never interact. But the moment you crush, slice, or chew the garlic, you rupture the cell walls. The enzyme mixes with the amino acid, and a violent chemical reaction occurs, instantly creating a brand new, highly volatile compound called allicin. Allicin is one of the most powerful natural vasodilators ever discovered in human biology. But it works through a completely different pathway than the nitric oxide system that is currently failing you. When allicin enters your bloodstream, it interacts directly with your red blood cells. Your red blood cells take the allicin molecule and metabolize it into a powerful signaling gas called hydrogen sulfide. For decades, cardiologists focused entirely on nitric oxide. But recent breakthroughs in vascular biology have revealed that hydrogen sulfide is the body's secret, secondary vasodilation pathway. It is particularly active in the microvessels and deep peripheral arteries, the exact blood vessels that feed the erectile chambers. Hydrogen sulfide forces the calcium channels in your vascular smooth muscle to close and opens the potassium channels wide. The electrical charge of the muscle drops, the tissue completely relaxes, and the blood vessels open to their maximum physical limit. But there is a massive physiological catch, and it is the reason why simply eating garlic with your dinner will not fix your erectile dysfunction. Allicin is incredibly unstable and highly reactive. If you swallow raw, crushed garlic on its own, it drops into the intense hydrochloric acid of your stomach. The gastric acid completely obliterates the allicin molecule before it can ever be absorbed into your portal vein. You get the garlic breath, but your cardiovascular system gets absolutely zero benefit. This is where the extra virgin olive oil becomes the ultimate biological delivery mechanism. Extra virgin olive oil is primarily composed of oleic acid, a heavy, stable, monounsaturated fat. When you crush the raw garlic and immediately submerge it in a tablespoon of olive oil, the dense lipid molecules of the oil completely encapsulate the volatile allicin. The fat creates a protective armor around the active compound. When you swallow this mixture, the olive oil shields the allicin from the destructive hydrochloric acid in your stomach. It safely escorts the compound through the harsh gastric environment and into the small intestine, where the fats are naturally emulsified and absorbed directly into your bloodstream. By using the olive oil as a Trojan horse, you bypass the digestive destruction and deliver a massive, concentrated payload of hydrogen sulfide-producing allicin directly to your starving endothelial cells. Furthermore, the extra virgin olive oil is not just a passive carrier. It is an active, aggressive healer in its own right. High-quality olive oil contains an extraordinary concentration of polyphenols, specifically a compound called oleocanthal. Oleocanthal operates identically to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen, but without the liver toxicity or gastrointestinal bleeding. When the oleocanthal enters your arteries alongside the allicin, it violently suppresses the chronic inflammation that has been damaging your endothelium. It strips the oxidative stress from the arterial walls, allowing the single-cell layer to heal and begin producing its own nitric oxide once again. You are hitting the vascular failure from two completely different angles simultaneously. The olive oil is extinguishing the arterial inflammation and repairing the structural damage, while the lipid-encapsulated allicin is flooding the tissue with hydrogen sulfide gas, forcing the blood vessels to open wider than they have in decades. Let me ground this heavy biochemistry in a real clinical reality. Let me introduce you to a patient of mine named Marcus. Marcus is a 61-year-old retired high school principal who came into my clinic completely exhausted and deeply frustrated. Marcus had been struggling with severe erectile dysfunction for over 3 years. He had tried everything the standard medical playbook had to offer. He was on blood pressure medication, which only made the erectile failure worse by artificially lowering his vascular force. He had tried the standard chemical performance pills. The first few times they worked moderately well, but soon his body required higher and higher doses to achieve even a partial response. Eventually, the highest safe dose of the medication stopped working entirely. His arteries were simply too stiff, too inflamed, and too resistant to vasodilation. Marcus told me he felt like less of a man, and the strain it was putting on his marriage was becoming unbearable. I sat down with Marcus and explained the exact physiological trap he was caught in. I told him that the pills were failing because the structural integrity of his pipes was destroyed. We needed to abandon the artificial chemicals and initiate a process of deep, structural vascular repair. I instructed Marcus to stop taking the performance pills and put him on a comprehensive anti-inflammatory diet, anchored entirely by the exact evening protocol of extra virgin olive oil and raw crushed garlic we are discussing today. Marcus is a man of incredible discipline, and he followed the protocol to the letter. Every single night, he crushed his garlic, let the allicin activate, submerged it in the olive oil, and took the dose exactly 90 minutes before going to sleep. For the first week, Marcus reported no changes in his erectile function, but he noticed a profound drop in his baseline blood pressure and a significant increase in his morning energy levels. The oleocanthal in the olive oil was aggressively lowering his systemic inflammation. By the middle of week 3, the biological shift occurred. Marcus woke up in the early hours of the morning with a firm, spontaneous erection. It was the first natural, unmedicated nocturnal erection he had experienced in over 4 years. The hydrogen sulfide signaling was finally forcing his deep pelvic arteries to relax and dilate during his sleep cycles. By week 6, the transformation was undeniable. The chronic inflammation in his endothelium had receded, and his body's natural nitric oxide production had fully come back online to support the massive hydrogen sulfide vasodilation. Marcus found that he could achieve and sustain a rock-solid erection naturally, spontaneously, and with absolute confidence. He no longer required a single pharmaceutical crutch. He had essentially reverse-engineered his vascular aging. Before we dive into the exact named clinical trials from the world's leading vascular institutes that prove why this works, and before I walk you through the precise step-by-step preparation method you need to use tonight, I want to ask for your engagement one more time. If this clinical breakdown is providing you with the exact answers your 15-minute doctor visit never did, please like this video, share it with a loved one, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your interaction tells the algorithm that real, unvarnished medical science matters, and it helps us grow this community of men taking their health back. Let us look at the hard clinical data. To prove to you that this is not an anomaly or a placebo effect, we must look directly at the hard, peer-reviewed clinical research that validates this exact mechanism. This is where the medical science becomes truly fascinating, because it exposes exactly why the pharmaceutical industry ignores natural compounds that they cannot patent. Let us examine a landmark piece of research conducted by the cardiovascular scientists at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. These researchers wanted to understand exactly how garlic impacted blood flow, so they extracted human red blood cells and exposed them to the active compounds found in crushed garlic juice. What they discovered fundamentally changed vascular biology. They watched under high-resolution observation as the red blood cells actively absorbed the allicin molecules and instantly began synthesizing and releasing hydrogen sulfide gas. The researchers then applied this hydrogen sulfide directly to extracted rings of human blood vessels. The results were immediate and profound. The hydrogen sulfide gas triggered the opening of specific potassium channels on the surface of the smooth muscle cells. The electrical tension inside the cells vanished, and the blood vessel rings relaxed and dilated by up to 72%. This study proved, without a shadow of a doubt, that raw, crushed garlic is one of the most potent natural vasodilators on the planet, operating through a secondary gaseous pathway that bypasses the damaged nitric oxide system completely. Now, let us pair that with the research on extra virgin olive oil. A massive, multi-year clinical trial known as the Pre-Dimed Study, conducted across multiple research centers in Spain, evaluated the cardiovascular health of over 7,000 participants. The researchers focused specifically on men who consumed a diet rich in high phenolic extra virgin olive oil. The clinical data revealed that men who regularly consumed high-quality olive oil had a dramatically lower incidence of erectile dysfunction compared to those on a standard Western diet. But the researchers went further to find out why. They discovered that the specific polyphenols in the olive oil, particularly oleocanthal, acted as aggressive scavengers in the bloodstream. These polyphenols hunted down and neutralized the free radicals that were causing oxidative stress inside the arteries. By putting out the inflammatory fire inside the blood vessels, the olive oil allowed the single-cell thick endothelial lining to physically heal, divide, and regenerate. The olive oil was not just a protective carrier for the garlic, it was structurally rebuilding the pipes. To give you a complete clinical picture, we need to look at a different type of patient. While Marcus represented severe, long-standing erectile failure, I want to tell you about David. David is 52 years old, a high-stress corporate executive, and he represents the early-onset vascular failure that I see increasingly often in my clinic. David was not entirely impotent, but his performance had become dangerously unpredictable. He could still achieve an erection, but he would frequently lose his firmness midway through intimacy. His morning wood had completely vanished over the past 18 months, which is the ultimate clinical red flag. I call this the canary in the coal mine. David's blood vessels were not completely calcified yet, but his endothelial function was actively collapsing under the weight of chronic stress, high cortisol, and systemic inflammation. His body simply could not produce enough nitric oxide to sustain the high-pressure hydraulic lock required to keep an erection rigid. David's regular doctor told him he was just stressed and offered him a low-dose blue pill. David refused. He wanted to fix his body, not medicate his symptoms. I put David on the exact same lipid-encapsulated garlic and olive oil protocol. Because his vascular damage was in its early stages, his response was incredibly rapid. The olive oil acted as a biological shield, delivering the allicin directly into his portal vein every single night. Within the very first week, the massive surge of hydrogen sulfide gas forcefully opened his deep pelvic arteries while he slept. David woke up on day 7 with an explosive, fully rigid morning erection. By the end of week 3, the oleocanthal in the extra virgin olive oil had aggressively reduced his systemic arterial inflammation. The structural integrity of his endothelium began to stabilize. The mid-performance softening that had been destroying his confidence completely disappeared. He regained the rock-solid, sustained rigidity of his early 30s. David completely reversed his vascular decline before it could turn into permanent calcified damage, simply by utilizing this specific biochemical reaction every night before bed. Before I lay out the exact compounding instructions and the precise timing you must use for this protocol, you must understand how to measure your progress. You cannot fix what you cannot measure, and you do not need expensive laboratory tests to track your vascular health at home. You are going to use a clinical technique called the waking pulse pressure assessment. Your pulse pressure is the difference between your systolic blood pressure, which is the top number, and your diastolic blood pressure, the bottom number. For example, if your blood pressure is 120/80, your pulse pressure is 40. Pulse pressure is the ultimate at-home indicator of how stiff and rigid your arteries are. As your blood vessels calcify and lose their elasticity, your systolic number creeps up, while your diastolic number stays the same or drops, causing that gap to widen. A waking pulse pressure over 50 is a massive clinical warning sign that your arteries are turning into stiff plastic pipes, which is exactly why your erections are failing. Starting tomorrow morning, I want you to keep a standard blood pressure cuff right next to your bed. Before you stand up, before you check your phone, and before you drink any water, put the cuff on your arm and take a reading. Subtract the bottom number from the top number to find your pulse pressure and write it down in a notebook. As you begin the evening olive oil and garlic protocol, you are going to monitor that specific number. As the hydrogen sulfide dilates your blood vessels and the olive oil polyphenols strip away the arterial inflammation, you will physically see that pulse pressure number begin to narrow and drop back down toward a healthy 40 or below. You will have raw mathematical proof that your arteries are softening and expanding days before your explosive morning wood returns. Here is the exact step-by-step compounding protocol. You must follow these directions down to the absolute second. Biochemistry is unforgiving, and if you alter this process, you will destroy the active compounds. First, you must source the correct raw materials. Do not buy generic, clear olive oil in a plastic bottle from the bottom shelf of the supermarket. That oil is heavily refined, stripped of its polyphenols, and often cut with inflammatory seed oils. You must purchase high-phenolic, cold-pressed, extra virgin olive oil packaged in a dark green or completely opaque glass bottle. The dark glass protects the delicate oleocanthal from being degraded by ultraviolet light. For the garlic, you must use fresh, firm, organic garlic cloves. Do not use garlic powder, do not use jarred, minced garlic floating in water, and do not use aged garlic extract. The manufacturing process of those products completely destroys the allanase enzyme, meaning they can never produce the critical hydrogen sulfide gas. Take one single medium-sized clove of fresh garlic, peel the papery skin off. Place the clove on a cutting board and use the flat side of a heavy kitchen knife to crush it firmly. Then mince it into very fine pieces. Now, you must follow the 10-minute biological trigger rule. This is the step that 99% of men get wrong. Once the garlic is crushed, you must step away and leave it exposed to the air for exactly 10 to 15 minutes. Do not touch it. When you crush the garlic, you rupture the cell walls, allowing the alliin and the alliinase to mix. But this chemical reaction is not instantaneous. It takes precisely 10 minutes for the enzymes to fully convert the precursor molecules into the highly volatile allicin compound. If you eat the garlic immediately after crushing it, the reaction has not happened yet, and the stomach acid will destroy the enzymes before they can ever form the allicin. If you wait longer than 30 minutes, the allicin begins to rapidly degrade and evaporate into the air. 10 to 15 minutes is the absolute perfect biological window for maximum vasodilation potency. Once the 10 minutes have passed, take a standard tablespoon and fill it with your high-phenolic extra virgin olive oil. Scoop the minced, activated garlic directly into the tablespoon of oil, ensuring every single piece is completely submerged and coated in the heavy lipids. This is the encapsulation phase. Place the entire tablespoon into your mouth and swallow it immediately. Do not chew the garlic. If you chew it, you will break the lipid barrier. The raw garlic will burn your mouth, and you will expose the allicin prematurely. Treat it like swallowing a small handful of supplements. Let the olive oil carry the minced garlic straight down your throat. You can immediately chase it with 4 to 6 ounces of room temperature water to ensure it clears your esophagus. The timing of this protocol is the final piece of the puzzle. You must consume this olive oil and garlic matrix exactly 60 to 90 minutes before you intend to fall asleep. You must also consume it on a relatively empty stomach, meaning you should wait at least 2 to 3 hours after finishing your dinner. The physiology behind this is critical to your success. As you drift into the deep, slow-wave phases of sleep, your sympathetic nervous system completely powers down. Your body enters a profound state of parasympathetic rest and repair. Your core temperature drops, and your blood pressure naturally decreases by 10 to 20%. This specific physiological window is the only time your body actively attempts to trigger nocturnal erections to oxygenate the pelvic floor. By taking the lipid-encapsulated garlic 90 minutes before bed, you time the exact moment of intestinal absorption with your entry into deep sleep. The olive oil safely bypasses the stomach and releases the allicin into the small intestine. The compound enters the portal vein, hits your red blood cells, and floods your system with hydrogen sulfide gas precisely when your blood vessels are in their most relaxed, receptive state. You are creating a perfect biological storm. The hydrogen sulfide forces the pelvic arteries wide open, the olive oil polyphenols flood in to repair the damaged endothelium, and you wake up with the explosive, undeniable rigidity of your youth. Let me address the vital clinical safety parameters of this protocol. Raw garlic is a potent natural anticoagulant. It physically prevents blood platelets from clumping together, If you are a man over 50 who is currently taking prescription blood-thinning medications such as warfarin, Plavix, or even a daily high-dose aspirin regimen, you must consult your cardiologist or primary care physician before beginning this protocol. The compounding effect of natural allicin and synthetic blood thinners can lower your blood viscosity too much. Additionally, if you suffer from severe gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, taking raw garlic before bed can trigger heartburn. For these men, sleeping with your head slightly elevated can mitigate the issue, but proactive communication with your doctor is always required. When you start this nightly ritual, you must understand the timeline of cellular healing. This is not a synthetic chemical designed to force a 4-hour window of artificial blood flow. This is functional permanent structural repair. During the first 7 days, your body is in the acute vasodilation phase. The hydrogen sulfide gas is forcing dormant, restricted arteries to open. You will notice a profound drop in your resting heart rate, a deeper, more restorative sleep architecture, and a noticeable surge in your morning physical energy. Between week 2 and week 4, the repair becomes systemic. The oleocanthal from the olive oil begins to aggressively strip away the chronic inflammation lining your blood vessels. Your pulse pressure will begin to narrow on your morning readings. This is the phase where the morning wood returns. The biological signaling pathways in your pelvis are coming back online. The erections may start out partial, but the frequency and consistency will increase every single day. Between week 5 and week 8, you reach the structural regeneration phase. Your endothelial cells, no longer suffocating under a blanket of oxidative stress, begin to multiply and heal. Your natural nitric oxide production synergizes with the nightly hydrogen sulfide surge. Your deep penile arteries regain their youthful elastic compliance. By week 12, the entire hydraulic system has been rebuilt. You will find that your erections are not just functional, they are explosive. You can achieve rock-solid rigidity naturally, sustain it effortlessly without the fear of mid-performance softening, and reclaim the physical vitality that the medical establishment told you was gone forever. You have essentially dismantled your vascular aging using 2 ingredients from your kitchen combined with exact, unvarnished clinical science. You have the named research. You have the at-home diagnostic tracking. You have the precise 10-minute biological compounding rule. The only variable left is your personal discipline to execute this protocol every single night without fail. Your body desperately wants to heal. You just have to give it the raw materials it needs to do the job. If you want to continue receiving the profound medical truth that gives you absolute control over your health, please take a second to like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. I am Dr. Calvin Harper. This is Men's Health Pro Max. Do the work, respect your biology, and take your vitality back. I will see you right here tomorrow for our next clinical breakdown.